It's Wednesday, the 11th of February. I'm Marie-Claire Carey-Jones. What's Occurin Cardiff? Hello and welcome to the programme. Today I'm at Brains Brewery in Cardiff. I've got my high-vis jacket on because this is a busy yard. I'm going to be finding out about the brewing process and of course I might be having a taste as well. I'm joined now by John Rhys, who is the chairman of the company. John, lovely to meet you. Brains has a fantastic history here in Cardiff, doesn't it?
It does. It was actually founded by my great-great-grandfather, S.A. Brain, Samuel Arthur Brain, who formed the company with his uncle, Joseph Benjamin Brain. One little lesser known fact, I think, about S.A. Brain and his family, they actually came from Gloucestershire. Oh, right. But, so they're not Welsh by birth, but he did come here at the age of 12, so adopted I think by the time he got here, I think he was a naturalised Welshman, certainly by the time he formed the brewery. In 1872, that was about 10 years after he got here, he married, he did every man's dream. He married a girl whose father owned a brewery, right, which happened to be the old brewery in St Mary Street, now the old Brewery Quarter. So he worked as a brewer for them for many years, and then in 1882 that brewery got into a few financial difficulties, so he teamed up with his uncle Joseph Benjamin Brain, who was a banker from Clifton in Bristol, and they acquired the business and it became S.A. Brain and Company Limited. At that time it only had one pub, and that was the Albert pub, which is now the Yard, which I think a lot of people watching this will be familiar with. But since then we've acquired many more pubs, as you'll be aware, and bars and restaurants and hotels, and we now have about 220 of those across Wales and the West Country.
Why do you think it's been so successful? Is it because, you know, that family link has continued, or? Yeah,
I think so. I think the company is still 133 years on, you know, owned by the descendants of Samuel Arthur and Joseph Benjamin Brain. So there's been the continuity there. I think, I guess the consistency in terms of that ownership has helped, but we like to think, you know, we've got some great pubs, and we continue to brew, you know, some great beers and offer, you know, customers what they want down the years, I guess. So that's clearly the key to it.
And obviously it has such a place in Welsh hearts, and, you know, the campaigns you've run over the years, it's just so well known, isn't it? Yes,
I think we had It's Brains You Want was our sort of tagline for about 80 years. Since then we've, you know, changed it about a bit, and we had a campaign called Positive Thinking from Brains that some people might remember, where we used humour throughout the noughties, if you like. And I think the other thing that we are naturally associated with is rugby. Yes. And I think, you know, a trip to a rugby international at the Arms Park, or now the Millennium Stadium, has always been associated with a pint of Brains or a trip to a Brains pub. I thought for sort of years that it would be great if we get the Brains name on the Welsh rugby shirt. And that was something we were able to achieve in 2004 when we became the sponsor of the national team. And we were fortunate enough to, in our first season with Brains on the shirts of the Welsh rugby team, they won the Grand Slam for the first time for 27 years, I think it was. So that was a good reward. Well, absolutely. After Friday night, then yes. But we're still the official ale of the Welsh rugby team, and had 8 years of our company and family name on the shirt, which we're clearly very proud of.
John, thank you so much for telling us a little about the history. I'm joined by Bill Dobson, who is the head brewer here at Brains Brewery. Bill, lovely to meet you.
Andrew.
You're going to explain to me how you make beer, aren't you?
Yes, I am. We're right at the top of the brewery, where the process really all kicks off for us here. And before us we've got the 4 main ingredients that we use to make beer. We've got barley malt, we've got water, of course, we've got some yeast, and we've got some hops.
Right, so how does that all come together?
Well, it all starts with the malt. The malt is the first ingredient that we prepare. And to start the beer process, we're going to blend this malt with some other malts to make the type of beer that we want. So when we want more colour and richness in the beer, then we'll add in some of these other coffee malt, and when you taste it, you'll probably...
Oh yeah, very coffee-like.
Yeah, so that's very much like a coffee bean. We mix these malts together in the right blend, and we crush them up, and then the next stage is to introduce the water.
Right.
Okay? So the next stage, we'll mix them up, because we want to make a liquid, yeah? So we'll mix up with hot water. That will convert sugars, the starches into sugars, and then we'll extract that out, and what we end up with is a really sweet, malty extract. And I've got a glass of it here that we had earlier, nice. And you can have a taste of that. So you should be able to smell all those rich malty flavours in there. And it's bag full of sugar.
Oh wow, it's really sweet. Yeah? That's much nicer than I was expecting it to taste. It's going to be a bit sour, but
so
it's
that's
great.
all ready to have the next ingredient added.
Right,
and the next ingredient is going to be the hops.
Right, okay.
So we've got some hops in front of us here. And again, these are not to be eaten, these are to be smelled. Okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do is all the lovely aroma flavour, the compounds are locked away in these hops. So what I'm going to ask you to do is rub them between your hands. So if you take a handful and you rub them like me, if you do it over there, and that will release all those lovely aromas. And if you then take a real nice smell of that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going everywhere, but it smells amazing.
Hops are basically the flower of a perennial plant.
Oh, they smell amazing.
And then once we've added the hops in, we boil up the malt extract with the hops to get the flavour, and then we'll cool it back down again, and we'll put it in a fermenter, and that's where we introduce the yeast. And the yeast is going to work away at all those sugars that you've tasted there, convert them to alcohol and carbon dioxide, and that'll give us, in about 7 days of being in the fermentation vessel, that'll give us essentially our beer. And
this is the yeast that does that?
Yes, this is the magic ingredient. So this yeast is going to eat all those sugars and produce us alcohol. So this is bag full of single cell little fungi. Yeah, it looks disgusting, but dip your finger in and go for a taste.
Things I have to do. Oh, actually, it tastes quite nice. It tastes like beer.
Yes, because it's in a slurry of beer, but that's, you can get the beer taste in there. You've got the sort of intensity of beer.
Fantastic, brilliant. Well, so that's where we've got to so far in the process. We're going to stop for a little break now, and then we're going to go downstairs and see it fermenting down there, aren't we?
We're going to go to the end of the process. We're going to go and look in our sample cellar at some finished packaged products.
Fantastic, excellent.
That we package, and the most important thing that we have to do with every batch of beer before it leaves the brewery and on retained samples afterwards is taste the beer.
Excellent, well that sounds an important job, but before we do that, you're talking about cask beer. What exactly is that?
So cask beer it's got a number of names. Real ale, people will know it as the beer that's served with a hand pull on the bar. So cask beer is a live product. It's still got yeast from the brewery in the cask, which slowly ferments and what we call conditions the beer in the cask, and that yeast will settle out on a lovely carpet in the bottom of the cask in the cellar, and we draw off this really fresh, vibrant, effervescent beer from the top, and that's what's served across the bar.
And how much of that are you making here?
We will package anything up to 1,600 of these containers in a single day. And in a year that equates in brewers' barrels terms to over 200,000 barrels of beer.
That's a lot of beer.
It is a lot of beer.
Well, let's crack on and have a taste of it then, because obviously that's what it's all about, how it tastes, isn't it? So explain to me what you're going to be doing.
Okay, so this cask has been sat here for a week, so now it's ready to be tapped. So the yeast will have settled in the bottom, and if we hammer the cask in, the tap in gently.
It's quite professional, you've done that before.
We try and not spill a drop, and then
so why does the first one have to
the first one will have a little bit of yeast in it.
Okay, is there anything you're particularly tasting for at this stage in the process?
We're looking firstly for clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have a look, and the beer should have a nice sparkle to it, and we should be able to see nice bright beer.
Yep, looks pretty bright to me.
And then we'll nose the beer, so we'll give it a good smell.
Smells good too.
And then the best bit, we're going to taste it.
Excellent.
So fill your mouth and use all of your mouth and swallow the beer.
Okay.
You get the full flavours through all parts of the mouth.
Tastes pretty nice to me.
Excellent.
An array in front of us.
I like to present food with the beer because when you're talking to new people, getting them into the category really, trying to get people drinking beer, I usually think it's an easier sell. And so many people will reach to wine automatically when they're having a meal for something to complement it, but I firmly believe that beer does the job better. You can broaden your horizons, there's so many more options to you, and some of these go really, really well with pub food.
Fantastic. So what are we going to start with today then?
I brought a selection of some of our best loved beers. We're going to start with SA Gold. Everybody knows SA as the legendary Welsh ale. SA Gold is its younger brother. It's a golden ale, and if you want to take a smell first, it's usually the best first step.
Oh, it smells nice.
Yeah? You like it?
Good.
It's got good hop character in the smell, which is achieved by putting hops later on in the brew. Goes particularly well with fish and chips because, as I say, it's got that citrusy feel. And you might squeeze a bit of lemon over your fish. Why not do it with the beer too? You can even put the beer in the batter if you were cooking it from scratch yourself.
Brilliant. Well, I'll have a little sip.
Dig in.
Oh, that's really nice. I
Yeah.
like that. It's not too heavy.
Yep.
Because I'm more of a lager drinker than a beer drinker, so that's really nice.
So the next beer that we've got is Brains Dark. So dark beers I often find are misunderstood. I think people look at them and they're scared of them. They think that they look heavy and thick, and we're not going to like that.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you, yeah. But this is what we call a dark mild. It's different to a stout or a porter. It's made with chocolate malts, which give it that dark colour. But then actually, when you start to drink it, it's very, very mellow. I've chosen a chocolate pudding to pair it with.
Excellent choice.
Not because it's chocolate in flavour, that is entirely down to the colour, but it picks out bitter sweetness from chocolate and it makes it a perfect match.
Like you say, definitely stronger than the other one.
Yes, yeah,
but not so bitter.
Mm-hmm. Final beer is the Rev James, which it's an exciting year for the Rev James actually. It's undergoing a bit of a facelift.
Because it's a very well-known beer, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yes, and it's one of our most loved beers.
Excellent. And you were saying it was a big year for this drink.
Big year for the Rev James. Well, it's had a bit of a facelift. It's got a brand new label and new pump clip, which will be going live in a few months' time. So I think you're the first to see it, actually.
Excellent, exclusive here.
So there'll be a big brand relaunch that accompanies that later in the year.
Fantastic. Okay, well, let's see if the flavour's good as well. That's nice. That's what I would think of as a beer, I think.
Yeah. It's my favourite beer in the world. And together with cheese, which is my favourite food in the world, it's a match made in heaven. So the cheese is very salty, it clings to your mouth, and then you drink the Rev James, which has got quite a warming palate, which just heightens the flavour of the cheese and then clears it away. And as I say, you're ready for the next.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Well,
Well, I'm definitely ready for some more food and some more drink. So we shall say goodbye to the others and carry on. Danny, thank you so much for talking to us about all of this today. Its name is nearly the same as our TV channel, so we couldn't resist a trip there. Next time on What's Occurin Cardiff, I'll be at Cardiff Made.